Do you want to look younger and worse, or older and better? Back up the hearse, or younger and fatter? It's kind of a curse, the former or latter, but you have got to make this choice.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, February 21st, 2025. This is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Canada, it's Tass Mellis.
Oh, I knew this jersey would come in handy. Talk about 20 years. Here it is.
It looks awesome on you. Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. A sad American
Sad.
Ayo.
I've been a Four Nations fan all my life.
And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Hit the like button. Subscribe, share the show, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Did everybody watch the hockey game, or a good majority of the hockey game last night?
I watched 2 hockey games this week.
Wow.
Big stuff.
Now that's an all-star game. For sure.
They did good. That's the first time they've done this.
Won't be the last, I doubt.
That was pretty cool.
No, it was very cool. I was wearing this jersey, win or loss.
Oh, wow.
So everybody jumping on the bandwagons just because they won. No matter what happened over time, I was wearing this thing.
Well, I only wore my province of Canada because Canada won, and now the states are a province of Canada, so that's cool. Entertaining game. Yeah, oh yeah, that's what was at stake for sure.
Big win.
Huge win.
Huge win, man. That's a big territory.
Big gut for us. All right, we got lots to talk about here on The Drop, and we are talking basketball. We're going to discuss Wemby's season-ending shoulder surgery. We'll get into the idea of a one-on-one tournament at NBA All-Star Weekend. We see your Four Nations. We go one-on-one. Tess has Worst of the Week nominees, and we got some rapid-fire fun. But first, like I said, basketball is back. That means wedgies are back, and we had another one in Portland last night.
And he'll swoop in, swing it up, and that is a very creative wedgie. Running right-handed wedgie.
Yeah, that's a different one. We got to find out on wedgietracker.com what the count is.
Let's go to Tom Haberstroh, who's on the wedgie central desk.
That's 32 wedgies this season. WedgieTracker.com. Shouts to the No Dunks crew.
Incredible work from the Blazers broadcast. They are all over wedgies, and man, do they get a lot up there in Portland. More than most teams. This year, seasons prior, we called Lamar Hurd the wedgie whisperer once upon a time. I think it's because they respect the wedgie that they get so many of them.
They do. Like Tom Haberstroh has given us wedgie analytics on the broadcast. Even Kevin Calabro has been won over. He's the one calling the wedgies now. It's not always Lamar.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yep. So that is 32 is the number. Great start to the home stretch here of the NBA regular season. Let's get into a few of the games. I'll open it up to any of them from last night. 9 in total. What were your key takeaways or games that you wanted to address?
Well, great home stretch started, I thought. We'll start with LeBron, because this old man can score 40 points no matter what. And he just knows how to live. This guy slept all day before the game, essentially. He's playing a back-to-back. Second half of a back-to-back, they get into Portland at 3 a.m., apparently. Goes to sleep an hour later, goes to sleep for another 8 hours.
Okay.
Then he gets up. He's got to train that body.
Okay.
An hour and a half. He's got to train that body, goes back to sleep for another 3 hours. Then he gets to the game.
Like a vampire.
He gets to the game late just to make things work. He usually gets there earlier, but he had to get there 5 local time.
Okay.
And then he dropped 40. And they won.
In a game without Luka, too.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing here. Yeah. I am saying LeBron knows how to live. He knows how to take care of his body. Luka just needs to learn how to be LeBron, essentially. That's the biggest thing here, is that Luka can see this guy beside him. Luka's sitting out a second half of a back-to-back. And unfortunately for the Lakers, they've got 6 more back-to-backs because of rescheduling going on because of the Los Angeles fires.
Yeah.
So 12 games in a very close standing. So that is something that you have to look forward to. I know that LeBron had some turnovers. Who cares? He dropped 40. He won this game. Period.
Yeah, 11 turnovers for LeBron. I think only the third time in his career he's had double-digit turnovers, and his team has won every time.
Yeah, that's weird.
Very weird.
All of that is weird. Like, I mean, it's LeBron, so that is a high number of turnovers, but the guy's played so many games. What, third all-time now? He just passed Vince Carter last night as well. Yeah, this is impressive from LeBron. I love a tale of two halves for a basketball team. This was a tale of two halves for LeBron. 5 layups and 2 jumpers in the first half. Second half, 6 jumpers, 1 layup. Obviously, this was a tough back-to-back, flying from Charlotte and then sleeping an entire day. Hopefully, that's not what Luka takes away from LeBron.
He's like, oh, sweet, I can do that.
But to show up and literally put the team on his back and get the win, the kids will say I'm glazing him. But an incredible performance by LeBron.
Yeah, what a quote from JJ Redick, dropping the glazing, talking about LeBron. And he took off All-Star Weekend. That's what LeBron did.
For this?
I'm not playing.
It worked. He knows how to
we've
live.
got some big games here. We're obviously in a race in the Western Conference, and he played, credit to him at least, played the back-to-back, a tough back-to-back at that, flying across the country there. And that was the reason why he sat out the All-Star game. So at least he played, and, Luka didn't play here the second one, and they've got to continue to get him into the swing of things because he has not looked great in a Lakers uniform so far in the 3 games.
Yeah, in that the game versus Charlotte did not look good. Shooting the ball from 3 everywhere. Although JJ Redick said after the game he will play back-to-backs. He's likely to play back-to-backs the rest of the season. That being said, yeah, LeBron took it off. Smart. You saw Denny Avdia in that game as well. Must have taken it off. That guy was tanned. He was extremely dark.
Yeah, I did see him.
I do love a post-All-Star game. We see
yeah.
who actually went on vacation.
Yeah.
And you can see from some of these games, even some guys taking a little while to get back into the swing of things. That first day back into the office, never easy after a nice
man.
long break. So maybe the worst, one of the worst days
You should have seen
of
me
your work
trying
life.
to work the remote yesterday. It
Oh,
was tough,
you were rusty.
man. Watching all this basketball after I was able to just turn on a movie and watch it.
Yeah.
No adjustments.
Yeah, you had to lock in. Were there any other games that you wanted to address? Any takeaways?
What do we want to talk about here? How about Jamal Murray? 34 points last night. He's got 7 30-point games in 2025, only 1 in 2024, and it was on December 28th. You can almost call it a 2025.
Yeah.
He's looking incredible, playing with great confidence. He was doing, it felt like Hotline Bling celebrations in the first quarter against the Hornets. I'm going to go out on a limb. Jokic and Murray are better than Musa Diabate and Nick Smith Jr.
Damn.
I felt pretty bad for Musa Diabate. This guy was just running around. He must have set the record for miles covered in a game because they put this guy in 2-man actions all night. Jokic scored 16 points on him. When he was guarding Jokic to start a possession, the Nuggets scored 60 points. It was crazy. It was he was just going off. 3 layups for Jokic in this one, all in the second half. Didn't even take a shot inside the lane until the third quarter. A dominant performance for the Nuggets. They're looking pretty good right now. They're beating up on bad teams, but they're also destroying these bad teams. And the Nuggets ran out of gas, I thought, a little bit in the fourth quarter. And that's because they gave Tass the first Nut Dust Bowl victory of the season, beating the Lakers on Wednesday night after LeBron missed a couple of threes at the buzzer.
Yeah, you make me think of Nick Richards when you talk of Diabate. Spurs played the Suns yesterday. Spurs played Nick Richards off the floor, essentially playing a minimal amount of minutes. And Kevin Durant getting into it with Chris Paul. Big win for the San Antonio Spurs, who are chasing the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, Wemby is out for the entire season now. That being said, just a great win, I should say, for the Spurs. Riding De'Aaron Fox, that's a guy that they can now ride into the final few minutes, but it was fun. Durant was getting into it with Chris Paul. I thought, again, opening night here, it feels like of the second half, which is more like the third of the season here. Just fun. I thought Grizzlies-Pacers was really, really fun. John Morant was being guarded by Andrew Nembhard really well in that first half. And just the Pacers overall, they're playing the Grizzlies game. They're getting out, they're running, and they're taking away those gaps defensively. Morant only scored 2 points in the first half because Nembhard was just all over him, or he was just scrambling to get it when Morant was trying to feed Zach Edey. He looked awesome in this game, and they scored 50 points in the second quarter. Yeah. That's a lot of frickin' points. So Indy beating Memphis at their own game, they're going to look good for the postseason. They're just looking right for the postseason.
And both those games sort of tied together, right? The Nuggets win. That keeps their win streak alive. It's 9 straight now for Denver, and Jamal Murray, like you said, TK on fire. It's funny to watch Court of Gold right now, the Netflix series on the Olympics from last year. There's not a lot of Jamal Murray in it. For good reason. Remember, he really, really struggled for Team Canada, and that sort of continued into the start of the season, but he's turned it on. And then I pair that, the Denver win, with the Grizzlies losing, like you said, to the Pacers. Denver's now moved up to the second in the Western Conference. They have now jumped the Grizzlies, who slide to third. So that's something to watch there for that. Another game I wanted to touch on just briefly, the Hawks, they were playing an important game against the Magic. They were up 40-21 early in the second quarter. They were cruising. But then the Magic, led by Paolo there in that second quarter, he scored 18 during a stretch that got the Magic back into the lead at halftime. And it was a close game sort of down the stretch, but Trae Young sort of lost his cool. He said after the game he thought the officiating was one-sided. I think a big part of it, he got tagged with a foul, and then that led into a technical foul because he was complaining early in the fourth quarter when he popped Goga sort of inadvertently in the nuts, and he wasn't happy about it. And then he got called for 2 more fouls in the span of like a minute after that. But they were both fouls. He pulled down Anthony Black fighting for an offensive rebound, and then mere seconds later, they put Trae Young in a pick-and-roll action. He sort of died on the pick. He was way behind the play, and he had to hold on to Franz Wagner and got called again. I think that's where like the frustration really stemmed from. Because you look at the numbers, the Hawks were whistled for 25 fouls, Magic 22, but Orlando had 10 more free throws. And again, he was pointing that out. But he really was getting into it like there's some officials in this league that take things too personally. And They can't sort of let it go, and he thought that was the case last night here in a loss to the Magic.
Yeah. I didn't think their bench played well enough when that lead just kind of dissipated.
Yeah.
They just could have been better. Although I love this stat. Seeing this stat about Dyson Daniels going into this game, 151 steals on the season. No one has done that over a complete season since 18-19. So last 5 seasons, for an entire season, no one has done that for an entire year. And Dyson Daniels has another third of games to play. That's pretty cool for him. And he could be considered the defensive player of the year now that Victor Wembanyama is not going to win it at all. Just wanted to point that out. He's awesime.
He's in the mix.
He's in the mix. He's not going to win it, but
no, it's unlikely that a wing will win it. But he got into it. I loved watching the Clippers-Bucks game as well. Giannis playing his first game with Kyle Kuzma, and those guys took a while to get into it and get used to each other. And I thought, wow, this is just horrible news because Bobby Portis is suspended. We'll get into that later, and how short the Milwaukee Bucks are because they're just so top heavy. And then you saw what the Clippers were doing. Bogdan Bogdanovic, the new Clipper, was playing with Ben Simmons. They're playing off each other and passing it to each other, and it looked great. But the guy who made the difference in this game was a former Clipper, now a Milwaukee Buck, Kevin Porter Jr. I thought was really, really important for the Milwaukee Bucks. He was just awesome coming off the bench. 13 points, excuse me. He was their guy. And that is the guy that Doc Rivers is going to rely on just as a guy to score because they just need another guy without Chris Middleton. They're going to rely on him. They won the game with him.
And that's Giannis back, but on a minute's restriction, and actually had to leave. Like they left the game.
He didn't play very much,
took him out with like 6 minutes to go in a close game because he had sort of already hit his quota to ramp back into shape. And for them to get that victory was pretty impressive. Did anyone keep a watch on engaged Kyle Kuzma and how he played?
He had a
overall?
55-footer.
There we go.
That
That's a
was
good
awesome.
start. Good start.
Like after an underneath the arm pump fake kind of. That was a crazy shot
it
that
was
he
defended. How did you make that shot? I mean,
Yeah, that was
Love. The answer is love.
Yeah, it was his 1001.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
1001st career 3-pointer. He had his 1000th like right before.
Yeah.
So it's been a great week for Kyle Kuzma.
It really has.
He's like literally that tweet at like I just became important at my job and it sucks because he's huge for this team right now. I guess he's rebounding. I thought the Bucks did a good job of once Giannis subbed out at the end, just attacking mismatches. Like Brook Lopez had a huge post-up bucket on Amir Coffey. He had 6 points in the quarter. Lopez did. Lillard had 12. So they had enough to get over the line. I think maybe a disappointing loss for the Clippers. With them having they were up 12 with like 8 minutes left or something like that. And this is a team that's usually pretty solid defensively. You know, Giannis is checking out eventually, but nice stuff for the Bucks to get a win because they needed one for sure.
Yeah, the Clippers, no Norman Powell in this game. They start Chris Dunn, who put Giannis Antetokounmpo in a leg lock underneath the rim. I mean, he really locked him up and he didn't let go. Giannis is asking the ref, hey, this guy is literally, this is WWE. It looked like when the Bucks used to do their pre-game little scrappy fighty thing in the hallway.
The little fake wrestling.
Yeah, Giannis would give it to Brook Lopez. I thought, oh, he kind of likes this, right? He likes this little fighting thing. But that was weird. And yeah, the starting Chris Dunn is always an odd thing. Ty Lue is playing with these new lineups with Ben Simmons there, now Bogdan Bogdanovic. You got to assume that Derrick Jones Jr. will go from the bench to the starting lineup in most circumstances. You got to think that, but he came off the bench in this one because they didn't have Norm Powell. So there's a lot of working to do for Ty Lue and Doc Rivers for those two teams.
One of the nationally televised games last night, it wasn't fun because the Celtics crushed the Sixers on TNT. Pritchard hit 8 threes. He had 28 points. Tatum, his 4th career triple-double. And the Sixers had their big guys playing, and it didn't matter. And now you have even Embiid talking about this knee issue, Trae, where he's like, I'm not as dominant here due to my ailing left knee. So now he's talking about it, and this is something when we did the ranking, obviously our tier show on Wednesday, it was like, are they just going to shut him down? Do they just like basically lean into that? I mean, Paul George is playing through a lot of pain too. He's saying he's taking a lot of like shots and stuff like that to try and...
Where's he getting shots?
I don't know.
His last injury was a pinky injury.
Yeah, well, this is what he said.
I know. And I've seen the same.
Yeah.
Pain-killing injections.
Yeah.
Where are they going?
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about. But Embiid does not look like the same guy. He took 9 shots last night. He did go to the free throw line 9 times, so those are shooting possessions as well. But he just looks like he's trying to get through the season. And what's the point of that? I think they're 7-7 when Embiid, George, and Maxey are all in the lineup together. So at this point, why keep playing Embiid? If he's already telling us that he needs surgery, I'm sure he just doesn't want to have yet another season end for surgery. Understandable, but it ain't happening for the Sixers this year. Meanwhile, the Celtics, they're definitely turning it on right now. Philadelphia played no defense in this game. Peyton Pritchard was just walking into open shots. Andre Drummond was running away from him after double teams. It was weird stuff, but the Celtics have won 8 of their last 9, mostly against pretty easy teams. But they did beat the Cavs. They beat the Knicks, teams they'll be competing with. And their defense is definitely kicked up, I think, in the past month, basically in February here. So Celtics see the end of the season coming. They're ramping up. They're going to go on a pretty solid run, I think, through February and March to be ready for playoff time.
Yeah, one of the more entertaining games last night involved your Chicago Bulls. Vucci baby had a chance at the, I guess, end of regulation, but the Knicks pulled it out 113-111. Towns was awesome. Brunson did his thing. Any thoughts from that one?
Yeah, clutch loss from the Bulls. Lonzo Ball, wide open three-pointer as well with about 10 seconds left. Brick job. And then Vucci gets the ball under the basket. Mikal Bridges, who's shorter than him, under the basket, blocks his shot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vooch. Needed that loss because the Sixers lost, the Nets lost, the Hawks lost, and the Blazers lost. So those are the teams they're competing for against in the Tankathon right now.
Yeah. So you got your Bulls lost, but unfortunately all those other teams
exactly. Yeah, I mean, reverse standings wise, the Spurs were the only team to really get a win in that mix last night.
Good point.
Yes, the Chicago Bulls, or whoever is going to finish 10th in the Eastern Conference, that's going to be the worst team ever to make a play-in tournament. You got to assume, record-wise.
Nobody wants to be 10th right now.
Yeah, the Spurs were really bad. I guess it was 2021, that record that they had, but this is going to be worse. Everyone's losing. Everyone is losing there. It was a strange shot to see Lonzo Ball take the bounce. He dribbled into the three-pointer because he was so open. But
so open.
Monica McNutt on the call said he bounced himself out of rhythm. It sure felt like.
Yeah.
And that was just a bad miss right there.
The Cavs also won. They beat the Nets, and I bring that up because we do have Knicks Cavs tonight. It's a nationally televised game as well, and we'll get to that when we get to our pick'em. But to sort of go full circle, we started with the wedgie in Portland. We almost had a leggie in that Cavs-Nets game. I mean, it can't get much closer to just that thing sitting there and then having to go up and get it, but it did fall off. But holy crap, did it stayed up there for a while. You had guys going like this, asking for the jump ball, and it finally fell off.
How long would they wait?
I guess it was moving just enough. They're like, it's going to fall off, and the refs were right.
Wait for it?
Yeah, the refs could have blown a whistle.
They could have.
That ball sitting on the heel there, just wait. Yeah, the players were ready. They thought it was going to be called. That was
amazing.
That was
very
awesome.
rare, the leggie, and that just proves it. Even ones as close as that didn't ultimately become one because play was still continued.
If only Tom Haberstroh, who we heard give the wedgie tracker update, was on that call, he would tell you how long it was sitting up there on the heel to the
stopwatch.
1/10th of a second.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right, so those are just some quick thoughts on last night's games, but let's get into Is This News? Get a shot of that good old Canadian kid.
My bad. Is it?
All right, Is This News? I'm sure you know it by now. This was the big news yesterday. We'll use The Athletic, a great website. Their headline, Victor Wembanyama expected to miss rest of season with blood clot. TK, you can start us here. is this news, and where do we go from here for Wemby and the Spurs?
Of course this is news. I mean, this is disappointing news for everybody. Is it going to change the Spurs' outlook this season? Maybe not. They were on the outside of the play-in picture. They haven't been playing their best lately, but who knows? They could have went on a run, and I think maybe like the biggest loss for the Spurs during these 30 games is that he doesn't get to play with De'Aaron Fox, right? And actually get a little chemistry going to ramp up for next season, which is really when the Spurs are going to try and turn around. But just super disappointing. Wemby is the reason anybody wants to watch the Spurs. He would have won Defensive Player of the Year. Now he's going to be ineligible for that award. Who knows where he would have figured in all NBA voting. He would have been an all defense player, absolutely.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it just sucks to see his season derailed like this. I guess it's optimistic that everybody's comparing this to the exact same thing that Brandon Ingram had back in 2019. Same thing happened with him. He missed the end. I think he missed like the final 19 games. Yep. He was on blood thinners. Everything cleared up, and he was good to go by the next season. Yep. Went on to become an all-star. So hopefully just a bump in the road for Wembanyama, and honestly good for him that they caught it when they did rather than if it got to his lung, which is what happened for Chris Bosh, and that was the end of his career.
Yeah.
So silver lining is that he'll be back eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they caught it early enough. Bosh, in his instance, was in the lungs and his lower half, and his legs as well. This in his shoulder, very similar to Brandon Ingram, as you said. Now, I've read every single report. I haven't read that surgery was definitely going to happen, but it seems like it's likely going to happen. I heard you say earlier on. Oh, you said it early. It's surgery.
Season-ending.
Unless I
misheard
the word surgery. I thought you said surgery.
I thought I said season-ending shoulder injury, but I stumbled on shoulder.
Oh, okay, maybe
surgery.
Sure.
If you put shoulder and injury together, it sort of sounds like surgery. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be surgery for this at all. I don't think so.
Right, because it seems like they got to it at a good time.
According to my primary care physician, Dr. Brian Suterer, MD.
Yes, I'm aware of his work.
First, we'll start with blood thinners,
Yeah.
and then they might do some kind of surgery, because I guess it's a common thing for people who do, like, overhead actions, right? Like, pitchers have it a lot, volleyball players as well, because things just get jammed up in your shoulder. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Veins, arteries, ribs, muscles. They can loosen it up. That sounded weird to me.
Yes.
Just loosen your rib?
No,
Yeah.
But you guys are saying, catching this early is the important part, because the long-term effects of the DVT, right, the deep vein thrombosis, is that if it's undetected, the clot sort of breaks off and can travel to the lungs, and that's when it's like very serious and very worrisome.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's back. It really does suck that he's not going to start his run here of Defensive Player of the Year wins.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about that. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter in the long term, sort of thing here. We're talking about his health, and that's most important. But, he was about to win one. He was going to win it. And we were like, how many is this guy going to win? Like, it could start like 8, 9. I don't even think that was that far-fetched to really think that way. So that's on pause. All NBA, all defensive team, all those things. And it opens up spots. And for Defensive Player of the Year, who now is the front runner? Is it Jaren Jackson Jr.? Is it Evan Mobley? You brought up Dyson Daniels. There's some buzz going for like a Lou Dort because of the team defense from the Thunder, sort of similar to when Marcus Smart won it with the Celtics. Dort as their best perimeter defender, maybe. So that's open. I feel like that's a wide open race now.
Sure feels that way, because it was Wemby's by far.
Yeah.
He won it on All-Star Weekend in that game that wasn't a game. I mean, he was ridiculously awesome. He missed a 3 and then was able to get back and not allow Darius Garland to get a shot where he was cherry picking, but he got back so fast, he stopped Garland from shooting. I mean, he is that guy. And it is weird hearing the weeks prior that Wemby just wasn't feeling all that well. There was shortness of breath, according to some reports on The Athletic, as Joe Varden wrote, and they thought, well, maybe it's just congestion from allergies happening, and he was feeling lethargic as well at All-Star Weekend, and that's when they had to test him right after All-Star Weekend.
Right.
So, they got into it and got after it real quick.
Spurs fans that are watching, Wemby, like every single possession, every Spurs game, they said even like the last couple weeks, he hadn't looked sort of like his older self.
He was dragging.
That he was dragging.
Celtics,
but everybody
on our getaway show.
Yeah, but you're right. It was that's right. But like there were like they went to Paris. Like they did have that. And JD and I went over to cover it. Like he's had the busy All-Star weekend. It was like, oh, maybe it's just the grind of an NBA schedule has sort of caught up to the young man. But after he had those 2 days off, he's like, I'm still sort of feeling like crap. And that's when the test came. Any other takeaways or thoughts here on the Spurs and Wemby's injury?
I think it's interesting to look at where they're at with regards to the lottery. They're 10th currently in lottery odds. They're 5.5 games better than Philadelphia, who is in 6th. I don't think they can get into the top 5. I wonder if they'll shut down De'Aaron Fox. Apparently he's got some finger problems on like both hands that require surgery, but he would have waited until after the season. Maybe they decided to go do that, but it's like Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Chicago, Portland, and San Antonio are all kind of in the same range. I don't know which team is the best of those teams. I don't know which team is the worst of those teams. I'm like, Philadelphia has the most talent. Philadelphia has the most talent. That's the only thing I can say. But like, Chicago's best player is Vucevic. Brooklyn and Portland, it feels like play over their heads, and the Spurs are going to be like Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox for the rest of the season. I don't know. It just seems like we got another team entering the lottery sweepstakes more so, because I think the Spurs were probably going to try and push to be better for the end of the season, but they should go the other way right now.
And they're going to have 2 picks here.
They got the Hawks pick.
They got the Hawks.
They got the Hawks.
Yeah,
pick.
and the Hawks
They're
are
not doing
struggling
great.
without Jalen Johnson. Really, they need some help. And I thought they'd have it, but they really need somebody just to start playing right.
A few other notes. I heard Sam Amick on the NBA Daily podcast sort of slip it in there, I thought, but mention there are rumors that Greg Popovich may not be coaching this team next season. He's been hearing whisperings about that. He's obviously not there right now because of his own health issues. So that's a potential sort of development here with now Wemby out and where they would pivot to. The other thing, Pelton noted when we go back to Defensive Player of the Year race, there could be significant financial incentives if Jackson or Mobley win Defensive Player of the Year. Jackson would become eligible to sign a 5-year, $345 million supermax, while the rookie extension Mobley signed last offseason would increase from $224 million to $269 million if either of those guys win the award. So keep your eye on that. And then I wonder how this impacts Castle's Rookie of the Year's chances. More opportunity, possibly, more usage. He was the favorite, I believe, at the All-Star break to win it, and I think those odds are going to, now even be more in his favor to potentially get Rookie of the Year, even though it changes from week to week. But it could. Right. It could. So that's another thing. But yeah, the Spurs playoff drought is likely to extend to 6 seasons here.
Got to be their longest ever.
They had missed the postseason just 4 times previously since joining the NBA in 76-77. 4 times previously, and now this will probably, if they can't get into that little play-in or get in, that'll be 6 straight. But they're going to add some more draft picks to a pretty good team there. Hopefully he's back. That's the fingers crossed, and he's back, and he's still dominant when he comes back next year. All right, next headline from Real GM. Agent contends Lakers should not have failed Mark Williams on his physical. Is this news, Tass?
No, I don't think this is news. This is what I make of the Schwartz statement that he released. I think some doctors believe he won't be healthy enough to play. If I'm reading into the statement, this was Schwartz's statement. The overwhelming sentiment after conferring with multiple nationally recognized doctors is that the Los Angeles Lakers should not have failed Mark Williams on his physical. But he didn't say it was unanimous consensus. He didn't say every doctor thinks that he shouldn't play. He said it's the overwhelming sentiment. So some didn't believe that he'd be able to play. So I think I am not a doctor. I am not reading the ex-doctors on this one. I will say, though, that it sure feels like the Lakers made a decision that this guy will not be playing all the time, every game for the rest of his career.
After they saw what they saw.
Yeah,
in the physicals. Yeah. Or at least
think,
in his.
After 2 weeks here that it took to make this statement, I thought they would say something a little more clear. Mark Williams is healthy. He can play. It's a little bit more subdued than that. Either way, I guess he's just coming out for his guy and saying something.
Is this the end of the Mark Williams Lakers Hornets trade saga? Is
No.
what I want to know. Yeah, I guess not.
No, Dave McMenamin reported that they have to have like a trial about it.
Oh my god.
So we're talking about this trade that happened 2 weeks ago still.
Yeah.
There's interviews with Mark Williams about this on the Hornets social media. Like, that's very weird to me, with him basically saying, yeah, I kind of think it wasn't all my physical. Maybe they gave up too much for me. It's just very strange this is still going on, and it's going to continue because I don't know when the case is going to be heard. I hope they call my guy Brian to testify. He should be the one deciding if this is legit, but this is basically Mark Williams, the Hornets, and his agent, Jeff Schwartz, saying, there's still value here. Don't worry.
Yes.
And that even is weird to me, too, because it's kind of like a little bit Mark Williams saying, I don't want to be a Hornet, and the Hornets being like, we still want to trade this guy because he's an injury concern.
Right.
But not in that way.
Not that bad.
So I think this is just a very weird scenario all around. A rescinded trade, they happen. But is there usually fallout like this afterward?
No.
Usually it would just be like the Hornets saying, oh, they failed him on his physical. We're happy to have Mark back.
Yeah.
He's played. He's played for
There was the
Yeah, he's
timing
played.
of
He
the
played,
trade,
yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
that complicated things, being right up against the deadline, right? Because we have seen trades that have been rescinded or held up because of physicals or examinations, and generally it's like, all right, here's another second-round pick then.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Or like, here, we'll throw in a little something else. That's happened many times before, but because
It happened at this trade deadline.
Yeah,
that
right,
second round trade throw-in. Yeah.
But because it was right up there, and then it was like, well, now it's done. It's done. I don't buy this like idea like the Lakers suddenly were like, wow, hold on, what are we sending out for Mark Williams? Oh, we don't want it actually. I don't get that because there was a need for Mark Williams, like a healthy Mark Williams. There was a need for a center, and we could debate whether or not connect and what they were sending the pick and all that was too much. But like the Lakers are trying to win right now. They have a 40-year-old LeBron James, and then they had just gotten Luka. So it's like, I just don't think it had to do with like, hold on. What did we send? No, that's too much. Okay, let's make up that he's not physically healthy. I think it was probably they saw something and they're like, oh God, this guy's gonna fall apart here. Maybe we shouldn't do this. That's my opinion on it. But
Yeah, and from the Mark Williams side, he may not want to be in Charlotte, as Trae brought up. That could be this side of it, period.
I would rather be on the Lakers right now than a 14-win Hornets team. Yeah, and he's only played on generally crappy Hornets teams. And he's barely played though too, is a part of the problem.
Yeah, but what's
And we're actually talking about him. Like, Mark Williams hasn't been talked about.
No.
We haven't talked about him at all this season, except for now this trade stuff. And that's because he was traded to the Lakers. Even getting fake traded to the Lakers is more press-worthy than playing for the Hornets.
Yeah.
What is this trial that will have this arbitration?
I don't know, man.
Judge Judy, man.
Is there? There's no way that Mark Williams becomes a Los Angeles Laker even after the season, right?
I don't.
And what is the point of this whole thing other than
Also true. Yeah.
other than to say, come get him. He doesn't want to be in Charlotte,
Yeah.
please, as you brought up, Trae, this offseason.
I think that's the spin. I think Trey's right on that. For not the spin, but that's what his agent is wisely trying to do here. And maybe the Hornets are like, go ahead, yeah, because we sort of want to trade you, and you want to obviously be traded. So let's see if we can convince another team.
Yeah, Judge Judy. Judge Silver, does he wear Skims underneath his judge outfit? I don't know.
It's not a visual I needed.
underneath the robe. Adam Silver wearing Skims underneath the robe.
Okay.
I gotta know.
Next headline. Next headline.
Rock
here.
that later.
From SI, I went with SI for this headline. Anthony Edwards says he'd compete in a one-on-one tournament at All-Star Weekend. Trae, is this news?
I don't believe you, Anthony Edwards. He hasn't competed at All-Star Weekend once. He was there doing the skills challenge, shot left-handed. What did he do at this All-Star Weekend? Hung out?
Yeah, didn't even
Said,
play.
I don't want to be the face of the NBA?
That's right.
But it would be awesome to see a one-on-one tournament.
Cool.
The unrivaled one for the women basketball players was pretty cool. What was the prize for that? Was 250,000?
Yeah, 200,000 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It was
I
a
mean,
lot.
if you translate it to the NBA, if they can actually get stars equivalent to what the Unrivaled League has, they had the best players in the league playing.
Generally, yeah.
I mean, easily $500,000 for the winner.
Yeah.
They would want $1 million. They could get it if they wanted to, but you would have to have commitments from the stars, and you would have to have somebody like Breanna Stewart got beat 12-0.
Yep.
She was a #1 seed. She's one of the best players in the league. Who cares?
Yeah. It was
Is Anthony Edwards okay with that? I mean, he doesn't think he's getting beat 12-0.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to win the thing.
Exactly
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I'm sure Stewie thought so too, but she didn't.
Yeah. And it was what? In the news cycle for
A second.
Yeah, an hour or two.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, the other person that beat her, Edwards, obviously, she's good. She got the best for her. Okay, we move on. What do you think, Tass? You think this is at all realistic? Or is this just another classic? Okay, All-Star Weekend sucked. What new thing can we do? What can we talk about, convince ourselves will work, and this will never come to fruition?
I think it can happen. You need just 4 guys to commit. All I would demand is 4 guys. Get rid of the skills challenge, make it on Saturday night, and similar to what we just saw in the All-Star game, just 4 competitors. It's just the semifinals. Winners go on to the finals, and that's it.
Oh, so you actually want to make this just a Saturday night event? And
Yeah, I
not
think so.
This would replace the All-Star game, I think. It's what best case scenario.
Yes.
Because we could get rid of that for a year or 2.
Yeah.
So
how many guys would you get involved? In this instance, it should only take half hour ish, 40 minutes ish, like a skills challenge, done and done. And apparently, Front Office Sports has said there is a rumor that there will be $1 million at stake. So I think 4 guys, make it happen, done and done. I just don't know how many guys you get to commit to making it a whole Sunday night thing. That is a lot of guys.
Well, we announce the All-Stars like normal, and then we hopefully get, I think, 8 All-Stars to compete in it. And that's your All-Star event. And for the 3rd or 4th year, we completely changed the format of the All-Star game, which is totally fine because none of it works.
What would the other 16 All-Stars be doing?
Nothing.
Cheering?
Sure. Okay. I mean, hopefully competing in the other events, I guess. Be it 3-point contests or whatever skills or 2-ball or shooting stars.
Dodgeball or
sure.
I mean, move on to
I've been saying it's now been proven, it feels like, maybe chill on the All-Star game because nothing we're doing is working. So let's just give it a year off or give it 2 years off and try whatever else. This is a good idea. Yeah, I mean, right now they all say, oh yeah, I'd play one-on-one. They say it now, but you're right, TK. Would you do it come next February when you're tired, when you want a break, when you don't want to be humiliated, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it'd be awesome if Anthony Edwards and Dame and Giannis and whoever all want to go in this. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
if they did.
I think maybe it could happen post-LeBron. The guy doesn't play one-on-one. Austin Reeves said it. He said LeBron doesn't consider one-on-one real basketball. He's right.
Yeah, that's why.
And that, of all the guys that wouldn't risk their rep in a one-on-one contest, he's number 1. He's my number 1 seed for guys who wouldn't want to be in.
Let LeBron ref it then.
Yeah, there we
give
go.
him a whistle. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why the risk of making it the Sunday event is just how many guys go in it?
Honestly, what's the
how many
risk?
guys go in it? Maybe nobody wants to go in it, and then you're having Stefan Castle versus Montes Buzelis. I mean, who knows who's playing it? I think the first thing is, if it's going to be an All-Star game, making it an All-Star game. Don't make it an advertisement. That's the biggest thing. We didn't have an All-Star game this year.
That's true.
That didn't happen. It was a variety show. It was, okay, here, Kevin Hart is going to be a comic here for a bit, and then here comes Mr. Beast to give somebody $100,000. That wasn't a game.
Yeah.
Those guys didn't play a game. That was weird. That was truly
weird. It was a
weird.
variety show. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with Rafael
bad one.
Sadiq.
It was a very bad variety show. Yeah.
You're never going to get people to sign up for this. Sorry. The players think that All-Star is cringe. That's what's happening. They're just, Wemby shows up, he's got a book.
Oh, God.
He played.
Exactly. That's what happened. They're like, hey, man, Jokic becomes a Chad, and it's like, what are you doing? This is cringe. We're not, nobody, and whose fault is it? Is it the league for overscheduling them or making it into a cheesy variety show or whatever? But they're like high school kids who don't want to play. They remind me of my son, who I'm like, get out there and try. I was like, I don't want. Yeah, this is stupid. You know, It's like it's fucking All-Star. Just go out there and play.
Yeah, I mean, you talked a bit on Is This Good?
I did,
agree with you. Like, it is a showcase. You are showcasing the league.
Yeah.
You should take some pride in that.
That's right.
To get more fans, kids especially. I mean, that's what, like, we were sickos when we were kids. Like, we were so into it. And I know, like, we it's become like I don't know, history is like, wow, the All-Star games were incredible back in our day. 48 minutes of hard-nosed defense. It so wasn't that at all.
It was
wasn't.
not. And I think the first game that happened on Sunday was definitely comparable or just as good as any All-Star game.
There was some competitiveness.
Oh, there was.
Sure,
Wemby was awesome, as I said. I mean, he was doing there was 3-point shots being blocked by Shea. Wemby was blocking shots. Wemby was almost dropped by Tyler Hero, but he recovered. How do you do that? Because he was giving some effort. That first game was good, and then it ended up being a game. The best athletes in the world literally had to just sit there
Oh, there's the clip of Shea literally yelling at Kevin Hart, basically like to shut up. And can we get the game going?
Respect to Shea.
It's like, can we play? Like, you want us to compete? Like, now you're like delaying us like every 5 minutes. So anyway, whether we get a game, we just go back to basketball or a one-on-one.
No, back to
little
basketball.
tournament.
I love it.
Yeah.
How do we get a Four Nations? Four Nations.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, as great as the Four Nations was, it is a little funny now that there's a lot of injured guys that are going to be going back to their hockey teams on Saturday and like banged up and like getting ready for the home stretch of that season. It's like, so I don't want that. I mean, I'd love to see a competitive All-Star game and a little more juice to it, but I don't need, if I'm a Scotty Barnes fan and he's in the game, I don't want him getting injured in it. If it's going to derail my team's chances to like make the postseason or go far.
You think Florida Panthers fans were tearing their hair out last night seeing Matthew Tkachuk stuck on the bench? 6:47 of ice time.
I mean, he was injured, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's the best player. Got to go play now.
Yeah, sort of
Second half the
suck, I
season.
guess.
It does. The NBA would never allow that. They get mad enough already when guys go play in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And to throw in a made-up tournament in the middle of the year, it would be awesome to watch, but unlikely.
We did throw in a
Yeah.
made-up tournament in the middle of the year. It's
We
called
did.
the NBA Cup.
and the All-Star game.
Yes.
And the Rising Stars.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, the spot in the middle, the meeting point is the USA versus the world, which is a game.
True.
Just strictly a game. Everybody outside the US, and then obviously the world side would be a freaking heck of a team.
It would
To
be,
be
but
Shea,
at the
Luka,
same time,
Jokic,
we don't
Giannis.
have enough All-Stars, international All-Stars, compared to American All-Stars.
I just named 4.
We
There's got to
have,
be enough.
it's top-heavy, but then you're going to be like, who are you going to be naming? Like, when you get
Denny
to like,
Avdia, you're not getting 10 this week.
Really?
Get out. I mean, that's
God, I
fine.
did not like that.
Why not?
I don't like a guy not really deserving to be an All-Star. Hell, we already did it this year when a Rising Stars team is playing on Sunday in the All-Star game or tourney. It's a little weird to me.
I think there's enough. There's enough dudes. There has
Not
to be.
yet.
not to get to
There's
12.
not. There's not yet, man. Because you're going to get into your Denny Avdias pretty quick. Like after the elite guys. Yeah, they have all the elite guys. They have all the MVPs. Jokic, Giannis, SGA, Luka.
Cat can play for it.
Okay, Cat.
Yeah, that's
All right.
5. We got a starting lineup.
No,
That's
you got
pretty
it.
solid.
I mean, who cares? I mean, there are underdogs, and that's why you tune in. I haven't watched a single second of hockey this year, and I won't probably for the rest of the year, unless the Leafs are somehow in the NHL Finals.
Okay.
Well, there's
But I
no
watched
chance
every second
all
of that game.
It's
Can't
final. Sorry.
You're right, Tess.
Don't
Thank you,
pluralize it,
thank you,
please.
thank you. The final.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I'm not going to watch it. But it draws in the casuals. That's the point. That's my whole point. It's a showcase of the game. And now I'm like, okay, maybe if the Oilers get in, I'll watch a little bit of the finals. I'm interested in hockey.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm Canadian and we're high on our big win last night. But that's the point. The point of the All-Star is to bring casuals into the game, to sell the game. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's your job to sell it. Like, that's your job. You make millions of dollars. Go in a dunk contest, LeBron. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Well, okay, that's not happening.
No, but that's not.
It'd be
But,
amazing if he's like, now I'm 40 years old.
in.
Now
right.
I'm in.
Well, but that's LeBron. That's LeBron's fault, right?
Yeah, of
because
course.
he's like, I don't want to ruin my reputation. They don't care about the injuries. They're professional basketball players. It's like, what if I lose? It's like, yeah. What if you lose?
Yeah. That's the stakes.
That's why it's fun.
Yeah,
LeBron.
exactly. Yeah, what if you win? Has anybody said that to him? What if you win, LeBron?
Michael Jordan never won a dunk contest at 40.
That's right.
Get in now, bud.
All right. Anything else?
The patriotism is just off the charts right now. There's no doubt that U.S. versus even Serbia or whoever would be an incredible little 4-team tournament, but USA versus the world is good. Just looking at it, we didn't even mention Wemby. He's coming off the bench. Sabonis, you can come off the bench. Jamal Murray, you get out there. Your first All-Star game. That's pretty awesome. I mean, you got a team. And I don't know how hard they play for 40 minutes, just because it says world on your jersey. It is different, obviously, than the individual country's patriotism that everyone's feeling right now.
It's almost a stretch to call this Four Nations face-off like the NHL All-Star game or weekend. Like, no, it wasn't. It was a mini Olympics.
Yeah,
they
fair.
just decided to have because the Olympics are next year in 2026. brilliant idea. It was incredible. But it's like not really fair to compare what the NBA could do. I guess, like you're saying, USA versus the world, which we sort of just did have because they rigged the draft lottery when the guys drafted the teams.
Yeah.
But like we would just play one game of that.
Yeah.
Would they compete? Would they care more?
Maybe. Wemby gave a crap out there. He cared.
Yeah. But I don't think he cared. I don't think that's the thing. We need guys like him that are like, yeah, we got to at least just put on a show in the 25 minutes I'm going to play in this game. At least play hard. No matter what it says on my chest. East, West, OGs, Rising Stars.
All-star.
Yeah.
Just normal.
Just play.
My prediction is that we have a classic all-star game in the next 4 seasons.
Okay.
Clip it.
Do you think
Clip it and ship it. Wemby cares. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Wemby
That's a
cares
great
to go
point.
out and do something awesome during All-Star Weekend. It was gaming the skills challenge, and then it was giving an effort in the actual All-Star game. As he becomes the face of the league, people will follow suit. Because some of the current faces of the league haven't cared enough about All-Star Weekend, and it stinks right now.
And I think it would have been completely different if there wasn't an 80-minute gap between Wemby's game and the final game.
They botched it.
Right.
I mean, you weren't on the Sunday night show, but yeah, we buried it. TNT production
that's
was
the biggest
brutal,
thing.
and the NBA, whatever. It was so stupid. It was like, okay, you came up with the tournament idea. That was working when they were playing, but you just ruined all flow for 3.5 hours or whatever long
Absolutely,
it was.
yeah.
Silly. I think it's on NBC next year, the All-Star game. Yeah, I believe so. Peacock is going to get it.
We'll see what they cook up.
That's
Was
right.
the dunk contest the best part of All-Star Weekend? Probably.
Yeah.
Well, the skills challenge was pretty funny when the Spurs.
That is maybe the most notable.
That was so
That
funny.
was pretty
Yeah.
hilarious.
But yeah, it's McClung.
Yeah.
Jumping over a car will be the one thing I
Yeah.
think we remember most.
And that's why I
And
think
Mr. Beast, of course.
$100,000 to that kid, Jaren.
Jaron, that's right.
Yeah, congrats to Jaron.
Let's follow up with him, see if he got that haircut.
All right, next headline, one more here. USA Today. Kyrie Irving wants to play for Australia at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Is this news?
Oh, it's news. I'm huge thumbs up for Kyrie. You want unlimited minutes. You want unlimited shots. Come play for Australia. You want to play with great defenders like Dyson Daniels or your old teammate Josh Green or Jock Landale. You got a guy named Jock on your team. How about that? And do you want to see a nice mustache in Will Magnay, your teammate Will Magnay? That's enough. I think for him, he's talked about it for a while. I think this is a good opportunity, and it is an opportunity that's very different than playing for U.S. Again, you can get as many shots as you want playing for this Australian team, and you have a good defense around you. And playing for America would be a little different with all the guards that they have. I don't think he would have the ball as much. I mean, he has played for it before, but I think it's just a good opportunity for a country that I guess he wants to play for. He lived there for 2 full years of his life.
What do you think?
2016 Olympics gold with the U.S.
Yep.
2014 FIBA gold with the U.S. He was the 2014 FIBA USA Male Basketball Athlete of the Year. I don't think it's a guarantee that Kyrie Irving is excluded from the next Olympics team. Steph's going to be older. LeBron's probably going to age out. KD, we'll see what happens with him. Kyrie Irving will be 36, but I think he's still got an outside shot.
Sure.
He probably would have more of an opportunity than he would have had if he got on the team this summer. And even reading his quotes, it kind of sounds like if the U.S. takes him, he's going to stick with the U.S. That's how it goes. It would be weird if he plays for Australia.
Yeah. I mean, especially
That's one with the U.S.
Yeah,
That's-
especially
it's
it
weird.
being also in LA too.
Yeah.
It's a weird wrinkle to it.
He probably just wants to be in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's what he's like. Well, if I don't make Team USA, I mean, I'll come play
right.
for you guys. And they'll be like, yeah, we'll happily have you. Help our chances to medal.
Yeah, I see that.
All right, let's move to worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
First nominee, it's an unfortunate one. Bobby Portis, the Milwaukee Bucks, suspended for 25 games for violating the anti-drug NBA policy. Now, what drug did he take? Tramadol. Tramadol is it's a painkiller. It's an opioid, but he thought he was taking a different one called Toradol.
Yeah.
And his assistant apparently gave him one that he didn't assume he was not taking. His agent released a statement saying he thought he was taking Toradol, which is not banned. And unfortunately, he's receiving a 25-game suspension for taking Tramadol.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's going to miss basically the entire rest of the regular season here, and then could return
Basically,
at the end and maybe playoffs, as they obviously try and catch the Pacers and the teams ahead of them and try and maybe make another run. Crazy.
Just taking a painkiller for his elbow.
So do you believe him? Just an honest mistake and just sort of trusting his assistant or his friend or whatever who basically just gave him the wrong pill?
I think so, yeah. From everybody talking around him, I heard Giannis in the locker room talk about it. He said, Bobby wouldn't do that. And he literally was taking this painkiller, which, again, it's an opioid. So the reason why it's banned is because it can be addictive, although you get into reading about it. Apparently, it's a very mild opioid.
I was doing some reading on it, for sure.
At the same time, I understand why it's banned. Is 25 games too much for it?
It did seem a little harsh, but I guess it's probably in their rule book there for their anti-drug policy, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you think, TK?
I mean, this sucks for the Bucks. I guess good thing they traded for Kuzma. I saw a lot of comments around the time saying, why did we trade for a second Bobby Portis? Coming in handy now. Luckily, he will be back for the playoffs. They reported on the Hoop Collective this morning that this happened like around Thanksgiving, huh? Like, he's trying to get treatment for his arm injury, couldn't do it because of literally the timing of it being Thanksgiving for whatever reason. So his trainer or assistant or whatever it is, like, oh, I've got that pill. And it was obviously the names are very similar, but I mean, it comes down to being Bobby Portis' responsibility, right?
Yeah.
You're in the NBA. You're the one that they're going to be testing for this stuff, so it's on you to know what you're actually putting in your body rather than something your friend gives you.
Yeah.
So, sucks, but I guess they're a game behind Indiana for 4th in the Eastern Conference and a game and a half up on the Bucks in the 6th seed, or on the Pistons in the 6th seed. It seems unlikely to me that the loss of Portis would drop them into the play-in. I don't think that's going to happen, but Kuzma needs to shoot a little bit better. He's been rebounding since he's come to the Bucks, 8 boards a game. That's helpful. 15 points per game, nice, but he's shooting what he did in Washington, under 30% from 3 and basically 40% from the field. So Kyle Kuzma is the savior in Milwaukee. That's scary. How is he their 3rd best player right away? I don't like it. I would not be happy if I was a Bucks fan.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of reps because it is a very top-heavy team. And speaking of, top-heavy, just the big guys, it is Giannis, Brook Lopez, and it was Bobby Portis that they relied on a lot. Yeah. And there was a big drop-off when he did not play. But it is Kuzma time. This is unfortunate. I would like to hear the report on why he couldn't get the right drug for him. As you said, the Thanksgiving thing was CVS just closed because it's Thanksgiving. I mean, why couldn't he?
Couldn't get the prescription.
Why, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so who knows?
He's owned up to it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I screwed up. I probably should have known what I was putting into my body. I mean, obviously trusted his assistant that it was the right pill, but
Tramadol,
25 games is no joke.
Toradol.
Yeah.
They do sound somewhat similar.
They really do. I could see the issue there. Yeah. Just if you don't maybe have your glasses on, you're like looking at the pill. Oh, damn, okay. Looks close enough. Starts with a T, ends with a dole.
Is that Tylenol? No.
Next worst of the week nominee, it's Seattle's mayor because he teased everybody that was at the State of the City address, which just seems like a pretty big speech, was sitting there waiting for him to do a speech, and he teased them that the Seattle Sonics were coming back to Seattle. This is what he had to say.
Right now, at this moment,
he pulls out a basketball. He pulls it out.
He's got skills.
What's the announcement?
I'm just kidding. I got
Listen to this laugh.
Okay. It's a long speech. I had to break it up a little bit here.
I love that move.
I had to break it up a little bit.
It's a long speech. I had to tease you that the Sonics were coming back.
That is too good.
Oh, it's ruthless.
Mayor Bruce Harrell. loved his joke. Nobody loved his joke more than him.
Apparently he's done something like this before, as I read. He's
Really?
like pulled this sort of like gag before.
Oh, yeah.
Which is even more fun. It's like I killed the first time, I'm doing it again. I love the crowd though, like when he pulls out the basketball and they're like, you hear the pop.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my God, he's got a big announcement. Here come the Sonics, baby. And then he says no, and you hear like it turns quickly to like the groans and the like sort of the hisses and the boos a little bit.
Spinning the ball.
Yeah.
I would vote for the other candidate. Based on this alone, I don't know the stances, but I'm in on the other person not bringing this up multiple times. Yeah. What are you doing, Bruce?
What are you doing, Bruce?
Oh, he loved it.
I did love his laugh.
Too funny. Okay, final worst of the week nominee. It's the Anthony Davis situation in Dallas. Unfortunately, Anthony Davis will miss at least the next 7 games. Now, the adductor will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. They traded for him. He played 1 game, well, 2.5 quarters, because he left the game in that third quarter where he was playing awesome. 26 points, grabbed 17 boards and blocked 3 shots. His team had a franchise-high 18 blocks in that game. Downside, they'll likely be missing all 3 centers for these next 7 games. Gafford, Lively, and Anthony Davis likely to be out for these next 7 games. Bright side, schedule's not that tough, and they signed Moses Brown to a 10-day contract.
Moses back.
Love watching that 7-2 bod run up and down the floor. So what do you guys take on Anthony Davis not being able to play for 7 games for a team that went into the All-Star game pretty strongly without all these guys? Gafford left just before the All-Star game, Lively out for an extended period, and now Anthony Davis again reevaluated in 2 weeks.
That's just sort of what I think a lot of us expected. Like it was going to be this amount of time, so it's not like a shock in that regard. Like you said, though, they were winning games despite not having any big guys, so they were sort of pulling out a lot of victories. I didn't look at their schedule. You said it's fairly easy, so that's good news, I guess.
New Orleans to start.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. At Golden State, at Los Angeles, not so good. Then Charlotte.
Okay.
Okay, so there's 2 gimmies there. Milwaukee, Sacramento, and Milwaukee again. So not super easy.
Yeah, not super easy.
But before the All-Star break, they beat Boston, they beat Houston, they lost to Sacramento, they beat Golden State, and they beat Miami.
Yeah.
So
Impressive.
4-1. Very impressive.
And I think PJ Washington is expected to be back here fairly soon. Maybe even as soon as their next game. So that's good, I think, from an ankle injury. Can they just hold on here? I mean, it's fun, and we're going to keep saying it and repeating it, but man, like every game it feels like in the Western Conference between teams, at least a majority of them, it's just super important. Like it's such a huge game because of the standings and where you're going to end up. So every game's going to be huge here without AD. It just sucks they miss him here for a while.
Got to win the easy ones, basically is what it comes down to, because some of the tougher teams they're playing have big guys as well, so those will be extra difficult to pull out the win. So you got to beat a Pelicans team. You got to beat a Hornets team with Mark Williams running around out there, and I think they could probably survive it. And then you just have to hope that Davis, when he comes back, stays healthy and doesn't re-aggravate this injury, which apparently happened because they got him out playing a little quicker than maybe he had anticipated and re-aggravated an injury previous. So what is like, I feel like I saw Mavs fans saying March 3rd is a big day where everybody's going to be re-evaluated again. We're having a re-evaluation party. We'll check in early.
That Phoenix Suns loss to San Antonio puts them 2 games back of the play-in tournament, and they do have the toughest schedule the rest of the way. Although they are fighting, they are scrapping as much as they can without Nick Richards really being a great starting center. But that team sure feels like the one that's going to miss out of the playoffs, along with the Spurs. But they have winnable games, but they do have the toughest schedule the rest of the way.
And the vibes are not great with that team right now. Warriors play the Kings tonight. That's a huge game. Obviously, those 2 teams in the 9th and 10th spots in the play-in right now. Again, all these games super important, but can Dallas hold on? I mean, you really want to hold on to a 7 or 8 seed, right? Give yourself two cracks to ultimately get into the postseason. You don't want to be like the one and done and you're out. Anything can happen in that situation, but we'll see. So great. Well, not great. Some unfortunate, really. Worst of the league nominees. I say Bruce is the winner.
Yeah, that's an amazing
the Seattle
clip.
mayor.
Bruce.
He thinks he's killing it so bad.
But let's hear from you. Who gets worst of the week in your mind? Let us know in the stream team right now or in the comments below. Pick'em is back. Tass needs a victory. Tass is 1-8 in the month of February. I'm next at 5-4. Trae 6-3. Esh 7-2. So you still technically alive. It's a short month.
Yeah.
But you're still technically alive, but you really need this one tonight. Where are we going?
I'm done. I'm 1-8. Come on now. The Knicks are going into Cleveland. Big game in the Eastern Conference. This could be a second round matchup in the playoffs. So the Knicks got to get some wins against good teams. And they're going to Cleveland as an 8.5-point underdog. Seems big. They both played last night.
Big, yeah.
They're both coming on a back-to-back. A couple of us think the Cavs will take care of business. Trae and I think they'll win by 9 or more, while Skeets and Esh using those points and taking the Knicks.
That's what I'm doing. And like we've gone over it when we did the Wednesday show, the Knicks have not beaten the best of the best yet. You know, it's sort of like put up or shut up time for me. So at least I'd like to see a close game on ESPN, I guess it is tonight. So that's where I'm taking the Knicks to cover.
Yeah, I just think the Knicks had to work so hard to get that win last night.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Overtime. They didn't want to play those extra 5 minutes. Cavs had an easy one, though, against the Nets.
Yep. They pulled away against Brooklyn. You're right.
That is a chunky line, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chunker.
It's a little odd, 8.5. You would think it'd be like a 4.5 or maybe a 5.5, something like that. But we will see. 24 NBA games on over the next 3 days. Basketball is back. A lot of nationally televised games. Not only the ESPN games tonight, but we start getting into these weekend ABC games and stuff like that. And there's some good ones.
This is some of the best basketball watching time of the year. Post-trade deadline, we know what our teams are. We're going to be jostling for playoff position, and teams are going to be trying to, like, ramp up, get ready for the playoffs. So until we get into, like, the Mickey Mouse parts of the end of March, we got a nice solid month here of games that really are interesting.
I like this little stretch here, before March Madness sort of takes over the basketball world a little bit, and then obviously after that, then we get into the playoffs. But you're right, couple good weeks here, and there are some good games nationally televised.
Yeah, and I said could be a second round matchup. I take it all back. It's highly unlikely.
They could. The Knicks would have to slip, really.
It just ain't gonna happen. Yeah. I reevaluated. I guess I was just thinking in the back of my head that the teams ranked as far as the strongest team, it's Boston, and then it's Cleveland, and then it's the Knicks. So I just saw them just in my mind. Instead of the standings, I was just rankings.
I see.
So that's wrong. It is completely wrong that they're going to play. They do play 3 more times, though. The Knicks and the Cavs haven't played each other yet. So that's good for them.
Measuring stick.
Measuring, yes, litmus.
Before we go, this is the drop, so we need to end with some rapid-fire fun. JD has the questions. We've got the answers.
Yes, guys, according to Reddit, Tom Thibodeau's house in Connecticut is for sale, and the Strickland posted, what's the Strickland? I'm not sure, but posted pictures from the listing of a, quote, sick man cave. I prefer rec room myself, but man cave, whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, looking at the picture here, I guess it's fine.
It's fine.
It's got a foosball table. It's got some nice leather chairs. It's got a neon sign.
Got a neon sign.
It's okay, I guess. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, the neon sign just says open. I don't know.
Having the Knicks defensive principles there is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's very odd.
It's a little on the nose.
And it's framed. It's
the point is, I wouldn't say it's sick.
No.
Yeah. Guys, what's missing from Coach Thibs' rec room? Skeets.
Obvious answer to me, a rec room, a man cave, whatever. You got to have an NBA Jam arcade machine down in that mother. I like the seats. Seats were really nice. I liked how they were arranged too, but we got to have an NBA Jam arcade there.
Oh, the seats, I don't love them. I feel like my butt would be really hot in those leathers.
How do you know there's not a little cooling button?
Nah. Yeah. Those things are old.
Ice! Ice! Ice!
There you go. Nice.
Tassie,
that was not planned. That was nice. I would want a mounted drink dispenser. You know those things that you have. Quite often you see liquor bottles, but it doesn't have to be a liquor bottle. It could be anything. That's just on the walls. Everything.
Oh, like a resort room has them from time to time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Usually they're liquor, but yeah.
Yeah, usually liquor. It can be non-alcoholic. It can be anything.
Yep.
But ready.
There's a little kitchenette in there, but not a bar.
Not much.
Not a bar.
No.
There's not much there.
Yeah,
little beer fridge or drinks and whatever. But Come on, Thibs. Trae, what's something missing from Coach Thibs' rec room?
I think there are a lot of things missing.
Yeah.
Like tables. No tables.
No tables.
You can use a blanket.
Sure.
I'm sure there's a TV.
Yeah,
We don't see
there
it.
had to have been
We
a
don't
TV.
see it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
what are you lining all those chairs up for? Other than that stuff, Touch Tunes jukebox.
Touch.
Oh,
Tune
interesting.
Yeah, you
jukebox.
know where you
Okay.
gotta pick the
Yeah.
songs from
You
your
got the
phone.
app.
That's good.
That's a great idea. That's
Great
it.
time.
Nobody. I've never heard anyone have like a jukebox in their. Record.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, it's pretty cool. It's like, what do you want to put? What do you want to listen
Hey
to?
guys,
Go
a
ahead.
quick commercial break. You guys want to just put on a song and sing along or something? I mean, I'm down for it. I don't know how many people are,
for
but
sure.
that's good.
Better technology. You need better technology. My first thought was you needed like an iPad ready there to order food from somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which could work for sure. You could just do that on your phone, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, technology's here.
All he's watching is Knicks games down there and crunching
fair
tape.
enough.
That's all he's doing. So maybe that's why he doesn't have all this other stuff. He's pretty locked in. Just needs a chair and a TV.
Yeah.
You're right. We couldn't see the TV, but we have to assume it was on the one wall with all the chairs.
Yeah, I hope so.
There's also like a Peloton bike and a treadmill, so he's probably
Okay.
working out
Fitness.
there.
There's a bed in there, isn't there?
There's a bed, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
that's
guy.
weird.
Well, he's like crunching so much tape. He just getting sleepy. Go to sleep. Wake up.
Can't walk upstairs.
Exactly. All right, guys. Next one. We missed out on All-Star this year. Or did we? When's the time you missed out on something you loved, but it ended up being no big whoop? Skeets.
I struggled with this question, man. I didn't know what to say. So I also went with another All-Star weekend that I sort of missed out on, sort of didn't. It was my first one ever. This was before we all went together as the Basketball Jones. I just started working at Ball Don't Lie, Yahoo Sports. They were going to send me. This is 2008, New Orleans. And there was weather delays in Toronto, so I missed my flight the one night. And then the second day I had a connection. And I'm such a bonehead. I was working away during my connection, but it was packed in the airport. And I needed a outlet for my computer, so I went down a couple gates and got to working away. And then I sort of looked at my watch. I was like, oh, we're probably boarding pretty soon. I probably should go. I walked over. They're like, gates closed. I'm like, what? You didn't announce it? And they're like, we did. And I'm like, I guess I just couldn't hear
You were
it, despite
4
being
gates away.
literally just 2 parts down, right?
Yep.
So then it turned into a nightmare because it was packed because everybody was going to All-Star Weekend. There was a lot of weather delays, like I said. So I was talking to guys that I didn't know, strangers that I met, that I remember selling Hawking T-shirts over All-Star Weekend, and we were gonna rent a van. We were gonna fly to Alabama and then drive. It was insane. Long story short, I got put on the last flight going out of that airport that got me to New Orleans. So I was super late, but it didn't matter. I got there, and the reason it's not a big whoop, I ended up going to New Orleans 2 more times after that for 2 more All-Star weekends.
Yeah.
So I've actually been 3 times to New Orleans for All-Star weekend.
For work.
Which is weird. Yeah. So that's my story. I didn't have a good answer.
Good one. No, it's a great answer.
No, thank you.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up. Tassie, what's something you missed out on that you loved but ended up being no big whoop?
Well, I was supposed to go to Disney World. My daughter was going to ride some coasters for the first time. She got tall enough. I was excited. It was early July, but we had to go to freaking Vegas for summer league, so I missed it. But it wasn't a big whoop. First of all, it was freaking hot, like you're sitting on Tom Thibodeau's love seats there. There was 115 degrees, and so it was difficult. My daughter didn't end up going on the rides anyways, because it was sweltering hot.
Oh,
God,
and so
You didn't
all
miss,
good.
You didn't miss that much, I guess. Didn't miss the rides. Yeah.
Nah, Disney's still there.
Yeah.
Vegas is still there.
Yeah.
I can go back to both.
Yeah. Just
we're
don't go
good.
in July.
That's
That's the trick.
Yeah, I was kind of happy about that before not committing. Yeah, I don't want to be there in July.
Yeah.
It's humid as F. So
Would you rather be in Orlando or Vegas in July?
Wow.
great question.
Probably
Just
Vegas.
weather.
Probably Vegas.
Yeah. It's dry heat.
Dry heat. And I mean, you just live in the pool all day if you
Yeah.
want.
Exactly.
I mean, not that you can in Orlando, too. Yeah.
Cocoa Beach. Hey, what's Tibbs' favorite ride at Disney World?
Hold on.
I mean, this is a stretch.
Oh, is it? It's not Star Wars. Star Wars.
It's new. It's new.
It's new?
It's their newest ride, I think.
Damn it, I don't know
Is it
enough.
But it's
Mario?
not a new movie.
So
Was
is it
it
about
Mario?
Tron or
Mario?
something? It's Tron. So what's
Tron
it?
Thibodeau.
Ah, man!
I'm impressed though that you came up with Tron.
Yeah. I am too. I've
Why
never
did
been
they
to
make
Disney
that
World.
ride now?
Oh, there's another one. There's a new one coming.
There's a new one coming out.
I think
Okay.
so,
There you go.
I'll watch it.
Same.
Yeah.
Original Tron? Good. I think I liked the second one.
I think I like the second one too.
Yeah.
I think I like the second
I only saw it once, but I think I liked it. Jeff Bridges' weird de-aged face, though.
Yes.
Early in the de-aging
Yes.
process.
Interesting. Yeah. I think you would have to because he's in a computer. Anyways, Trey.
For me, it's I think that there have been 2 UFC outings that correlate with Summer League.
Right.
And I've always
Yes.
been interested. I've always wanted to go to a UFC event, but I think one time y'all had tickets and I wasn't there. I was like, maybe Ada had been born, so I
Yeah.
wasn't there
Yeah.
yet, and you didn't even go.
Was that the one we were walking up to the arena and
feel
people
like
were
it might
leaving
be,
because it was
yeah.
over? Because we
Yeah.
dragged our feet getting
Yeah,
there?
I guess we didn't do the time zone conversion. I
Yeah,
think
we-
that's what happened.
We
yeah.
definitely botched that. Yeah.
Classic.
Because it's over at like 8 o'clock local time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they're all coming out. We're like, we were just walking.
missed it?
We're like, oh.
Hey, good fight. And then the other time, I think at least Nora and Laura went. And the biggest thing that happened was they met Wu from Survivor.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I was like,
Yeah.
didn't miss much. But I would like to see if we're sitting, cage side.
Oh,
Because I can't imagine
jeez.
that's the greatest experience, like sitting in the upper bowl, watching that tiny little
Yeah.
octagon. That must be a tough.
I've only been to
Yeah.
one UFC event. It was a big one. I think it was UFC 100 in the Sky Dome. I'm pretty sure is what they had. Yeah, I think that's right. George St. Pierre, I'm pretty sure, fought. This is way
Yeah.
back, obviously. What are they at now? They must be at
trying to
almost
think this-
200 by this point. But anyway,
Oh, yeah.
it was fun because the atmosphere was
Sure.
awesome. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't see shit. I'm just watching a
The
television
Jumbotron.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. The upper bowl, you're just watching the screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool, the atmosphere.
Let's go this year.
All right, I'm in.
All right. Yeah, me too. Okay, guys, last one. Crossover alert on Sunday. SNL celebrated its 50th anniversary with a star-studded 3-hour extravaganza. On Is This Good? Oops, I meant to put up this. On Is This Good? This week, I ranked every single sketch that made it into that special, which sparked some debate, not only on the internet, but in our group chat. One thing we didn't cover, though, the snubs. Oh, hi, Skeets. I'm having a rough day. One thing we didn't cover, the snubs. What's one sketch you would have loved to see on SNL 50, Skeets?
Well, we did talk about this in our group chat about the SNL 50 show a little bit, so I'm stealing it from there. But I would have replaced the Domingo Val renewal
Yeah.
sketch, which was okay.
fine.
But I would have replaced it with the What Up With That. To like just you get so many people still involved in it.
Yeah.
This is with
Totally.
Kenan Thompson as DeAndre Cole, right? Where he's always singing the theme song. I guess it's like a BET show is like the angle to
yeah,
the sketch.
yeah.
But Fred Armisen on the sax.
Yeah.
Sudeikis in the tracksuit, always
man.
doing
Oh,
dancing
God.
moves.
So
Bill
funny.
Hader, who we didn't unfortunately have
I think
there.
that's why it wasn't in it.
Yeah, I was thinking that
honest.
too, because he's usually Lindsey Buckingham
Yeah.
from Fleetwood Mac. And then you can have a million other people. So that it's always a funny sketch to me.
100%.
So that's my answer.
Couldn't agree more.
It's a great way to work people in.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh,
Everybody's
exactly.
there.
Yeah. You can have anybody on that panel.
Yeah.
And then people come and go. It's just great.
Yeah.
Tassie, what's one sketch you would have loved to see on SNL 50?
Can I ask, do we know where Bill Hader was? Because he could have been in so many things. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's rumors, but I don't want to. I
Okay,
don't
no rumors, no rumors.
Yeah.
They squeezed him into the in memoriam because there was the Stefan, the weekend update
Right.
skit.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to see him in the Californians. I love me some Californians.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, come on. You go up to 45 and then I'd make the left turn. Yeah. I'm a Californians man.
Did you see there's a Californians commercial? Did you catch that? I don't know when I saw it. It's for
During the show?
new Volkswagen.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw it during the show or like
No.
just some other programming.
I don't think so.
But it's a legit commercial, but it's the Californians doing it because it's all about them in the Volkswagen doing all those same lines of like take this, take that.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
It's a great bit. I mean, it's based on Dana Carvey's kid, I believe, who also wasn't there. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Dan Carvey. Yeah, right.
Somebody was
Interesting.
clowning on Dana Carvey's kid's accent, the California,
Oh wow. And that's how they came.
That's how they came. That's
funny.
the impetus for the sketch.
Oh,
But
I didn't know that.
anyway, Trey, bring us home.
Yeah,
What's
I guess I
one
hadn't
sketch?
really thought about no Dana Carvey, which means that's why they didn't do Wayne's World.
Yep,
I would have
100%.
loved to see Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Another one I thought was gonna show up either in like the montages of physical comedy or commercial parodies that I was disappointed to not see was Chris Farley being served Colombian decaffeinated crystals. I couldn't believe they didn't put that in either of them. Like freaking out at the restaurant. I thought that was a guarantee for either of those.
Yeah.
So like when they didn't have it in physical comedy and then they eventually ran the commercial parodies one, I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Nope.
Because it could have gone in either one.
Either,
And
yeah.
in the physical comedy, they had Matt Foley
For sure.
going through the table
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I mean, the commercial montage was great, but I mean, you could do an hour at least on just the best commercials.
Yeah.
I mean,
Overall, though, you liked it.
yeah, 2 thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
I loved
Everybody
it.
else thought it was pretty
good.
damn good. I did
I
too.
loved it. Yeah.
I mean, for what they were pulling off, like you're
God.
saying, it's like holy
Yeah.
crap, and no dress rehearsal,
dress,
and,
yeah.
and then there were some technical issues. Like I hate Black Jeopardy sketch ended really weird. Like they had, they cut to Tom Hanks, he's suddenly taking over, and that was the weird part. Like that was the funniest part about that was Eddie Murphy doing Tracy Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just
yeah.
subbed him out
then
for the Tom Hanks character.
yeah.
It's like, you didn't probably need to do that, but try to get everybody in, everybody involved.
Exactly.
Everybody's got to get a touch.
Everybody's got to get in touch.
Did I see that was Meryl Streep's first appearance on
Yes.
Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
That was a killer skit.
Yeah,
Obviously.
she was funny.
Yeah. Well, JD doesn't
Not
like
my
that.
favorite.
Doesn't like that
Not
one.
my favorite.
You don't like the Kate McKinnon
I
skit?
do like it too.
I don't.
I laugh every time. Just her talking.
Hey,
It's a
man, I
one-trick
know
pony,
I'm in
but-
the minority here, but I find it so tedious.
So what was your favorite then of the entire SNL 50
Black
show?
Jeopardy. I mean,
That was your favorite, even despite the ending clunky like that?
in spite of that,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, it's-
look. I mean, that would listen. To be honest, like the funniest sketch of the whole weekend was during the concert. Will Ferrell and a guest are doing their teachers, and their whole medley of popular tunes played by high school teachers. I love.
Okay.
But sorry, Eddie Murphy, greatest of all time, probably.
Yeah.
Doing Tracy Morgan beside Tracy Morgan, and Tracy Morgan being annoyed by his own personality is just a chef's kiss, layers and layers of comedy, and it's just I laughed the most at that. I think, but there were lots of gold in this year. I thought.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. I thought there was like some real gems in the Kristen and Amy sort of Q&A with the crowd. Like not everything was a banger, but like some bits were very funny in that.
John Lovitz across the street.
That was funny.
Oh my God,
that was
great.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus with Driver and the Dog. I thought was funny as hell for some reason. Like
Yep.
it played
100%.
well. So.
And kind of an Arrested Development hat tip, right? Because the dog, the blind dog,
Oh my God.
was her character had a blind seeing eye.
I
dog.
recently started
Very
watching
cool.
Arrested Development again on net. I think it's on Netflix.
Holds up, man.
Yeah, the first season at least. Yeah, it's fun.
Season 4 skip.
Yeah,
The first 3 are great.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. All right, that's rapid fire, not so rapid. But hopefully this was a classic. You tell us by hitting the like button, by subscribing, by leaving us a 5-star rating and review. Like we said, tons of basketball games on this weekend, some big ones. We'll be back on Monday to give you our NBA weekend winners and losers. If you see a winner or a loser, jump in the YouTube comments and let us know who you think we should talk about on Monday. If you're a Survivor fan, No Buffs is back. We did our cast reaction yesterday. That is up on No Buffs. It's on YouTube feed, it's on podcast feed. Brand new logo, as you see there, from our guy Graphic Mark. We are going to work on some new merch. Perfect time to get in. We're pretty excited about this cast after watching their 18 little bio videos. So go check that out. Link is in the show notes. Go subscribe to No Buffs. Nora will be back next week as we start breaking down episode 1, Survivor 48.
Based on that one photo, who do you think's gonna win?
Yeah, who you got, Tess?
The guy who looks like the Australian basketball player Will Magnay because he's got a mustache.
Oh, that's who Trey picked.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Thomas.
Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got the guy right behind him. I got Joe. He's a fire captain. And JD, who'd you take?
I've got the Homer pick Canadian.
Oh, right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Little
Camilla.
in the yellow.
Yeah.
Camilla, yeah. Okay. And Nora has in the front row the guy in like the orange or red shirt, Kyle there.
Yeah.
Sort of leaning on one knee, looking cool. Great smile.
Cool, Kyle.
Yeah, he likes dogs. So there you go.
You like dogs.
So anyway, go check out No Fuss. But we will be back on Monday. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, the muscular guy or woman never wins on Survivor, right? I mean, why would you bring huge muscles onto Survivor?
That guy's got.
Leave him at home.
You're going home. You're gonna get voted off. You're too muscular.
Who's the most muscular winner?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good.
Probably David is. Are you talking about this season?
No, who's the most
ever.
muscular winner?
Yeah, the guy in
Ben
the
Bomb?
You know, Natalie Anderson was pretty
jacked.
ripped.
Yeah.
Yep. Tom, fireman.
Tom, yeah, Jeremy. No, I guess
Jeremy's
maybe.
he's
He's
shaved,
muscular.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good question. You're right, Tess.
You want to be the second most muscular. Tops.
yeah. This I'm looking it up now. David here on Survivor 48,
That guy,
definitely the most muscular.
He was. He's very proud of his body. Let's say that in his little bio. He's out there to win challenges. Play the game of Survivor, maybe not so much, but we'll see how he does. Brace the weekend, people.